So I went to the airport today to sit on an airplane for 3 hours to then go back into the same airport, have the flight canceled, and return to the same hotel I was at last night. Let's talk for a bit about rules, different kinds of business rules, and particularly in financial systems. There's different kinds of business rules that I've seen used effectively in financial systems. One set of rules is expressed as a simple way of doing it is expression as tables. Simple set of keys and answers. The keys provide values that come from one set of systems or one set of code sets, and the answers provide the new code sets that should be used. This is a very simple way in which rules can be expressed for determining how things should be manipulated in producing outputs. It can be either used for accounting rules, going from source systems into the finance system, or for extract reporting rules, going from the finance system out to different kinds of reports and extracts. If the same value on the answer side, if we assign the same value on multiple rows, then when we do an aggregation process on the outbound side, and the back side of this rules process, we'll end up with a single row, so we'll typically end up with aggregation happening on the balance in some way. Whereas if we maintain individual values, then those values are maintained, the row values are maintained going on the outbound side. So that's one set of things that can be done. Another way of expressing rules would be something more like an if-then-else statement, where we take and say, if this value or that value or that value or this range of values, then assign this value. That logic tends to can reduce the number of rules that are developed because it can be less verbose. You can use ranges, you can use and/ors, lots more complexity in the if-then-else construct. So you can reduce down the number of rules, but it's less intuitive, less understandable. You have to be then more reading and thinking about how those rules are expressed, whereas table definitions are a bit more transparent. It's easier to simply glance at a table definition and understand the meaning that is embedded in the rules in a table definition. So this is one of the two distinct kinds of categories of rule expression I've seen. Now, there are more complex rules in the world that go through a whole lot of other kinds of things. Accounting rules tend to be fairly simple. They have to be because they have to be auditable, they have to be understandable. So those tend to be a bit more simple than other kinds of other business rules that are done. But I've seen both of these uses been used effectively. Both of these types of business rules are used effectively. Typically, accounting rules to assign balances, there's a break between what is done for the balance designation, the simple transaction to accounting rule designation, and what is done for other kinds of attributes, long list of attributes like customer, vendors, arrangement, contracts. When there are lots of attributes involved, then it becomes more efficient to use an if-then-else construct. Even on the table definition, it doesn't have to be a simple single answer to a single key. Wildcarding sort of concepts can help reduce the amount of rows that are developed and the total verboseness of those rules. Consider that when you're developing metric engine processes that need business rules.